If you've been struggling with digestive issues and you're tired of taking medication, tired of not getting actual answers as to why you don't feel well, you are in the right place. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. We are Jenny and Erica with the Nutrition Clinic for Digestive Health, and we specialize in solving digestive problems. We have a really fun topic today. The holidays coming up, we wanted to do something really fun and festive and start getting everyone's mind ready for the new year and thinking about your health goals. So Erica and I are going to be sharing some of our favorite things that we do in our own personal wellness routines today. And I'm just going to kick it off by talking about what we are having on Christmas Day and what the menu looks like at my house. I think it's going to surprise you guys. It might not be what you think, but it's what works for our family. So that's what we're going with. So Christmas morning, our favorite tradition is to have cinnamon rolls, and my daughter and I make them ourselves every year. So that's like super fun. And then I found this recipe for like an eggs Benedict casserole. And since I really love eggs Benedict and I'm gluten-free, I haven't had eggs Benedict in a really long time. So I'm really excited to make that. And my daughter loves to bake. So she's 4, and I'm really trying to encourage her love of food. She's a really adventurous eater. She's a great eater. She's really fun to work with in the kitchen. So she's going to be making reindeer brownies, and it's like you make brownies and then you put pretzels on for like reindeer antlers, and then they have like red hots on the nose, but we're gonna switch it out, I think, with a raspberry or maybe like a strawberry. And then we're just gonna do like 2 little eyes. They have candied eyes in the recipe, but I think we're gonna do something different and a little bit more creative for the eyeballs on that. And then Erica, what do you guys have a Christmas breakfast tradition or anything that you guys like to do on Christmas morning with food?
Yeah, well, first I want to say one of the things we do too with fruit is make fun, festive things out of it. So for the longest time, when the kids were younger in school, we would always do the Grinch. So if you've probably seen that, it's like a grape and a strawberry and a little
I did
marshmallow
see
on the
that
top.
this year. Yeah.
And it is like the favorite of all the kids in the classroom. So trying to make the fruits and vegetables fun is what I have done for a long time. My family, my extended family, are all meat and potatoes sort of people. So I've always been the one to bring a fresh salad, a fruit plate, something that's fresh. So I think that's always been on my mind of how do I make this a little healthier? Because I don't know about you, but for me, when I eat heavy foods like that, I need something fresh, the salad, to help with the whole digestive process.
Yeah, absolutely.
I usually make an egg quiche for breakfast. That's kind of our thing. And it's nice because I can make it the majority of it the night before. So I don't have to be up super early. And when you talk about baking, so my husband actually likes to bake and he makes from scratch croissants.
Fun.
Yeah. And those are a ton of work if you have ever tried that
Have
before.
that.
It's like every hour you have to refold. So it takes like 12 hours. And it's shocking how much butter actually goes into the recipe.
Oh yeah, they're so flaky. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yep.
Cool.
I think some of the other big things when we talk about like digestion or family events and all of that, to feel my best, I try not to graze. When you go somewhere, usually they'll have something out to begin with, and it's maybe things I like, but I really try to be intentional when I go there just to choose the things I really like. And it might not be, the healthiest, but I'm very intentional with it. And then, like I said, the grazing, if I just eat all day long, I feel so sick. So I try to be much more mindful about what I'm choosing.
Yeah, I'm with you. Um, yeah, and then also maybe surprisingly for the afternoon portion, like lunch and stuff, it's just kind of like Christmas Day for us is just a big day. We're home all day. I mean, kids are little. We're playing with toys all day. We might go for a walk. But then, lunch comes up and I want it to be like special and different. So I ended up getting a charcuterie tray from Whole Foods, like an antipasti one, which I think is going to be really good. And then they had this really cool harvest salad with like, it's like a bed of greens and over it is like butternut squash, beets and some like candied walnuts. So
Oh,
it looks
nice.
really good. Yeah, it's really pretty. I can't wait to pick it up. And yeah, so we're just gonna do that. My mom's coming and she's gonna bring a couple of sides too, but it's just gonna be kind of like a light lunch. Nothing super fancy. And I really do that intentionally. I like
Mhm.
to cook, but I just know myself, and I know if I was in the kitchen all day or responsible for like a turkey or a ham, I would be out of my mind. Like that would really stress me out. I wouldn't be a very present mom for my kids. I wouldn't be in a good mood all day because I would just have that task at hand. And it would just really weigh on me. So I intentionally outsource the big things, on big holidays and stuff. So yeah, I'm excited, and really looking forward to the day and the celebration and all that stuff.
I think that's so smart. I mean, take the weight off. So before we had kids, I loved that. I would do very extravagant things and it filled my cup. So I talk to patients about that all the time. Is what you're doing filling your cup or depleting you? So it used to fill my cup. And then when my kids were little, it just felt like a chore and I didn't want to do it anymore. I'm finally back to the point because my kids are a bit older. We all chip in now. So
That's
my daughter,
fun.
yeah, my daughter will make a dessert. My youngest will make food with me. My husband is making the ham. We're hosting his family this year. So, but I'm also getting some trays as well so that we don't have to do absolutely everything. And I feel great about that. I don't feel guilty at all.
Oh yeah, I don't feel guilty at all. I just feel like the expectation is probably that everything is like
Mm.
homemade because of what, like what we do. Like we go out to eat with someone and they always expect us to order like a certain way, or they might be afraid, but it's just kind of like when you're in this profession, you're like, well, I'm not making, you feel like you have to explain yourself. But
It's
I
interesting.
it's just what we have to do to stay sane around here.
And if you think about it, and I know because we've talked about this, the majority of the time, you and I are cooking fresh and from scratch. And
Yeah,
so it's the consistency piece. We're doing that the majority of the time. So to have the time to enjoy the family around and not be as stressed, that's worth it.
yeah, absolutely. I agree. So what are some of your favorite things? And I think this is really cool. I'm going to jump in and share one of mine. For 2025. I know Erica has a ton of really cool products she wants to share with us today. I just got to say, a little late to the game, but I'm finishing up Atomic Habits.
Mm.
And with the end of the year coming up, I'm finishing the book and they're talking about like the importance of reflection. So I just think it's such a cool idea. First of all, I love the book. It's all about like making changes and how to do it. There's all these different like kind of almost like mind games you can kind of play with yourself or ways to set yourself up for success when you're trying to make big change. And that's a lot of what we do with people. And I think that it's all super interesting and it's all really helpful both personally and professionally. But last night I was reading about reflection and it was like, he's encouraging it as an exercise to do on a regular basis on whatever you're working on. And one thing I thought of is what we do with our clients a lot, which is a follow-up symptom survey. And like the purpose of reflecting in any manner is to just kind of sit back and assess what you've done so you can change up where you need to change up. Um, and it's supposed to be kind of like a zoomed out view, not zoomed in too much. Um, Kind of like looking at yourself in the mirror. If you get up close, you're going to see like every pore on your face. If you're too far back, you're not going to notice if you have something in your teeth. But if you can just get to the right level of zooming out, which is apparently like every 6 to 12 months, that's a really helpful spot to be to strategize and plan and kind of set new goals.
So that brings up a good point. A lot of people do wait till right now. Maybe they should also do that 6 month check-in. And maybe it's not as much as this time of year, but I think that would be really helpful. What you're talking about reminded me of our Restore Gut Health programs. My favorite is at the last session. I have
Yes.
them fill out what they are proud of, what they would have done differently, what are some goals going forward. And all of them have commented, like, this is so nice to take the moment to think about this because too many people focus on, well, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. What are your wins? There's so many, and people come so far in 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and we don't take that time to reflect. So that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I absolutely love that form that you created, and I love it whenever I see that ones come in. I'm like hopping on it right away to read it and see what people are saying. It's really cool.
And it's different for everybody. It is their unique adventure and their perspective of it all, and it is fun for me to see because sometimes I would think, oh, they would focus on this piece of something and they focus on something completely different. So it's really a cool tool. Have
Awesome.
you started reflecting for the new year?
Yeah, I'm always kind of thinking about it. One thing that really gets me kind of in that headspace, and we were going to talk about this today anyways, but like one of my personal like wellness things recently, and it kind of changes every year. But I've been doing a lot of energy healing, and whenever you go to like an energy healing session, you try to get into a space where it's like, what do I want to work on today? Like how am I feeling? What am I thinking? Like, what have I been like dealing with or experiencing? And it just kind of like gets you in a consistent rhythm of mindfulness and reflection. So I think recently I committed to going 3 months in a row to energy healing instead of, I kind of just like hit and miss when I feel like I need to go. So that's going to be really interesting to see like what that does in terms of um, like helping with that process.
Yeah, consistency is key. That is such an important piece. So whether you schedule it in, some people are like the first of every month, maybe, or, if you can find a rhythm that works for you to do that sort of reflection. I feel like we don't give ourselves enough space anymore. We're distracted by things, and this time of year it gets even worse. So just giving yourself a little space, not feeling guilty about it, doing something, like I said before, that fills the bucket, those things are what's going to catapult you forward and get you on that right path, the healing journey. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. All right,
Do you
Erica, let's see what I'm so excited to kind of go through all the stuff that you put together for today.
want? Okay. It took me a while. I'm like, ooh, I have this and I have this and I have this. So I use different things at different times. So don't get overwhelmed. I don't use these all at once. I didn't start bringing these things in all at the same time. So if you just find one thing that resonates with you today on something I'm talking about, that's great. So one of the things I use and this was actually from a patient years ago. It's called Neuromints,
Okay.
and it's GABA. So there are these little melt away mints it has GABA and L-theanine in it.
I like it.
And anytime I'm a little anxious or something is coming up, or I, have repetitive thoughts about something, I'll take these. And I know a lot of people get anxious, not necessarily in a good way, about seeing family over the holidays. And there's like, maybe you lost a family member or something, and this is your first Christmas without them. These are really great and mellowing and soothing. Have you ever tried GABA?
Yeah, I take it at night. I do like is it Metagen? No, it's Designs for Health makes a Pharma GABA product.
Oh,
That's what it's called, and I just call it my chill pill. And I chew like half of one. I'm pretty sensitive to it.
Okay.
So I just chew half of one before bed and it's really relaxing. And if I start feeling like on edge with the kids or just overwhelmed by like stuff around the house, I'll do like half a GABA just so I'm not like, it prevents me from like going over the edge when I feel like coming on.
Yes.
Really nice.
Yeah, that's really funny. I call it the chill pill too.
That's what I mean, GABA is considered nature's tranquilizer.
Yeah.
You know
Yep.
that?
Yes. Yep. I
I
love it.
started researching it after I tried it it was recommended by another dietitian. I was like, wow, this is really helpful.
I like how quickly it works.
Yep,
That's the
15,
thing.
20 minutes, you're like, was I upset about something?
Yes. So those are definitely something I keep in my arsenal and have all the time.
Love it.
Another thing I like to use, so during the holidays, I have lots of little cousin or little nieces and nephews, and they have all these sicknesses. And my kids are kind of over that phase. So I use, I don't know if you can even see it, biocidin. I use
Oh,
the
love it.
throat spray.
Me too.
Yeah.
Anytime I feel something coming on, it
I
doesn't have a chance.
I do it preventatively, like before I go into a big group, before I go on an airplane.
Yep.
This is a go-to and it helps so that I don't pick up whatever sickness it is.
I love that. I have it too. The throat spray is the best. And I think it tastes really good.
I do too.
Tastes like flowers.
So my kids like it and at least one of them's pretty picky and she likes it too. So I would highly recommend that.
Yeah, love it. That's funny. We're doing the same things. Your favorite things are my favorite things.
That is funny. And we have not talked about this beforehand, so that's interesting. Um, when we talk back about the stressors, and GABA is really nice at changing acute, like right then, how you're feeling. Something I like preventatively, it's called rasa. It's technically considered adaptogenic coffee alternative. So some of their flavors are coffee-ish. I was trying to find ways to get less caffeine, less coffee in, but I love that flavor. It feels good. I like the warm. So this has been the closest thing I've found, but it also it makes me feel really good instead of that second or third cup of coffee would make me jittery and
Yeah.
anxious. This will do the opposite. So it has a bunch of adaptogenic herbs. I love adaptogens because they help mellow you out too. So instead of a huge cortisol spike, you might come up a little bit, but not crazy. And then instead of dipping low, you also will just kind of balance out. So you ride the waves really nice. And this tastes really good. Like this one is a cacao flavored one. They have a peppermint mocha one for the holidays.
Cool.
They have ones that just taste more like coffee. So if you're missing that coffee flavor, you could do that too. Yeah, this is definitely one of my go-tos.
I like it.
Now, for people that feel a little drained or burnt out, this is my other favorite product. It's called Bits. They're algae tablets. And actually, I feed them to my animals too. They love them.
Really?
They wait. It was so weird. Like they would come up to me every time I'd open the bag and have one. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna try. They chew them up. They like sit there and wait for even my cat.
That's
It's
funny.
it's crazy.
Huh.
So I've had a lot of people that just say, "Oh, I'm dragging in the afternoon," or I have a hard time getting going in the morning. Just taking a couple of these is like it's almost like a multivitamin. Um, you're getting a lot of different minerals in there, and yeah, it's not that jittery feeling. It's just like a good sustained energy. So
Okay.
I, I would highly recommend these. I have been looking on the market. There are so many bad algae companies. You think about that, like all the potential toxins and things that could be in these products. A lot of them had bad fillers. So this brand specifically is a great one and something I would
Cool.
recommend.
I'm gonna try that.
Then I'm big into fasting. And I know you are too. And especially when I know potentially I'm overindulging a little bit at a meal, like my family loves to make prime rib and twice baked potatoes. And I don't normally eat that heavy at a meal a lot of times. So I've found if I like do some fasting before I have a meal like that, it helps a little bit. So two of the things we've talked about bone broth before, but two other things I really like. There's this peak tea. They're like tea crystals and they're filtered so that there's no heavy metals or arsenic or things that are typically in tea, no
Yeah.
mold, and it's really easy to use and it helps it. This one's a fasting one specifically, so when you are fasting sometimes you get those hunger cravings. For whatever reason, when I drink this I don't have those sort of cravings to eat. So the peak fasting teas, this one's a matcha fasting. There's also a black tea.
I
um,
have the matcha. I think it's really good. How do you make yours?
Um, I just put like I'll heat up some hot water and then just mix it in. I just drink it straight. Do you
I've
do
been playing
something
around
different?
with different matcha recipes lately. I was trying to make bulletproof matcha, so I did like coconut milk and almond milk the other day, but it was like a full fat coconut milk. It was really good with coconut milk.
That sounds really good.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, that's the only one. I'm trying to switch from coffee to tea, and I've just been kind of playing around because I really like bulletproof coffee in the morning.
Hmm.
But yeah, I've been trying to switch and just find like similar replacements.
You're talking about like the recipe and not the brand Bulletproof, right?
The recipe, yeah.
Yeah. And you use MCT oil or what do you do?
In my coffee, I do butter and collagen,
Okay.
and I do it in like a mushroom coffee.
Okay.
But with the tea, I just did full fat coconut milk. I didn't have any MCT oil, and I was doing it cold, so I didn't want to put butter in it either. So I was just kind of playing around.
Okay. Yeah, I usually put MCT oil in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other fasting thing that I like, so some people, it's hard to fast, or at least in the beginning, getting your body used to extending a fast. So if you've heard of the fasting mimicking diet, fasting mimicking plan, they have these fasting shakes and they have fasting bars. I like the shakes better, but essentially it's 20 years of research and having these, it keeps you in fasting mode, but it gives you a little nutrition and it fills your stomach and it feels much easier than going with just water.
Yeah.
So
You really have to train up to fasting. Like you can't just do it, I don't think.
well, most of us are constantly burning carbs. We're eating frequently. Our body is used to just pulling the quick carb stores that we have in our body. To get to those harder to reach, to go in and switch to ketogenesis, like it takes time to train your body to do that. You might feel horrible for a while. So some people that have those like low blood sugars or feel shaky if they're not eat if they skip a meal, those are people definitely that would benefit from something like this, and also going very slowly, even like 15 to 20 minutes bumping their
Yeah,
fasting regimen per day.
I
Hmm.
agree. It's the more I've been like playing around with it and learning about it the past year, the more I'm like, wow, this is really like you can't just start fasting. You have to really be careful and go slow.
Yes. And we think about fasting, it is a stressor on the body.
Yeah.
So some people have enough or too much stress on the body already. So fasting really is not for everybody. You have to have your body in the right place. That's for sure.
I
Um,
agree.
I, I have one more thing. Well, I do just want to say, like during the holidays, you cannot skip out on prioritizing your sleep, still getting movement in, taking time to make space for yourself. All of those things are so crucial. It might be smaller amounts. It's not the all or nothing, but if you can, you have to keep that boundary and you have to keep that in place in order to really make the most out of the holidays. I think I see too many people giving those things up, all their foundational things, so that they can fit everything in. And that's, in my opinion, like the exact opposite of what you should be doing.
Yeah, I think prioritizing wellness and just covering the basics is so, so important.
Um, we didn't really even talk about the things that we do for wellness in general. Do you want to share some of those things that you do?
Yeah, I think one of the things that's the most important for me, we've got just a couple minutes left, but we try to get out for a walk every morning at our house. My cutoff for that is I don't go out if it's in the 30s, but if it's not, and Erica's in Wisconsin, where it's like much colder than that, and you guys probably wear shorts when it's 30 degrees. But if it's in the 30s in the morning, I'll bump it to the afternoon. But that's just like for me, one of the best ways to start my day is with some morning sunlight that comes in by the end of the walk and just some exercise and some fresh air and some time with my husband and my daughter. It's just really, really nice. So I prioritize that. Um, I prioritize self-care, whether it's getting my nails done or getting a facial or energy healing. I try to do something like that at least once a month. Like healthy food at home is really huge for us too. So we do, you guys probably all know we're gluten-free. My husband most likely has celiac disease, so we just keep the whole house gluten-free. And we do mostly organic, very clean. So I think that's a really big thing too. It just helps us all feel so much better. And then just, getting a good night's sleep is another big one and prioritizing rest. And I'm really intentional. It's surprising how fast things still fill up around here with our schedule, but I'm really intentional about having downtime for my husband, myself, and my kids and not overscheduling things and not overcommitting. But I think those are kind of my big, oh, and our water. We do spring water. We have it delivered. It's very not cheap, but it's very, very important to me. Like so much of our bodies are comprised of water, and it's like such an important nutrient that I just really it's not something I'm willing to give on. So that's another big thing.
I like all of those a lot because, and what I noticed as a theme there is all of the really big exposures, all the really big things that add up or could create like a too big of a toxic load. You have gotten rid of all of those foundational things. And it's, I would never suggest someone start and do all of these things at once, but take one step like, okay, what could I do better for my water? Now that you got that as a habit, what could I do better as far as air quality? So we always have an air doctor in our house in different places. We make sure we change our filter. It's crazy how important, like, and we don't think about it enough, like our air quality. We're breathing all day, just like we're drinking water all throughout the
Yeah.
day. So those are really important. Some of the other things that I like to do is almost after every meal, I'll do a quick walk. We have a nice treadmill. I'll go 5 or 10 minutes every time. So throughout my day, I'm just building in that movement piece. And it was a really nice awareness tool when I did do that CGM, the continuous glucose monitor, how I could just see it, like my blood sugars come down right away or never even go up because I got movement in right after I ate. So, and it helps with digestion. So there's lots of reasons to prioritize that. And then my other really big thing is the sauna.
Oh yeah.
My genetics, I'm a very poor detoxifier. So I do some supplementation as well, but sauna has been one of the best things for me. I go about 3 times a week. It's an infrared sauna and it's a 40-minute session. I seriously, sometimes I walk in there and I start like tearing up because it's like a space for me to be alone. I know I'm not going to be interrupted as a mom of three kids and dealing with everything. It's just nice when you have a space for yourself. And I honestly don't even realize I feel that way until I walk in there and I have that like space for myself. So it has been a really powerful um, thing that I've added into my routine. So
That's
that's been
really
awesome.
nice.
It is.
And then we both, I know, love our Aura rings. I have mine on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I am obsessed with the CGM. I pick it up, and I know you guys have probably heard me talk about this, and I do it, probably once a year for like a month or two. But I'm just on a streak right now where I'm probably going to get it for another month. I'll probably be on like a 3 month streak with it this year, just because it's been so insightful. And I'm forever playing around with different supplements and different diets and, dabbling in fasting or whatever. Like it's always something that I'm trying out or experimenting with. So yeah, that's another like just a kind of essential wellness tool for us. It's been in our house, the CGMs have been really interesting and so helpful and just give you so much insight as to how you're metabolizing food.
I would completely agree with you on that. Another thing I use is castor oil packs.
Oh, I need to do that. Yeah, I have a kit, but I've never used it.
Okay. Do you
I just,
have like the actual pad and everything too?
I do from Queen of Thrones. It's in my bathroom cabinet and I need to pull it out. So I remember to use it.
Yeah, so I've used it for years. They have Queen of Thrones is mine as well. There's a lot of really bad castor oil out there, so you need to be careful with that. So this would be a great brand to try, but it helps. It's not as messy with having the little pad. It'll stay in there because it can get into your clothes and stuff like that. So you have to be a little bit careful. I just started using her roller for the skin. So
Cool.
she's really big into like rolling it on your face and your neck and stuff at nighttime before bed. So that's a
Cool.
new thing that I've started adding into my routine.
You know what? We got about a couple months ago, we bought grounding sheets. Do you have those?
I used to have them years ago, but I don't right now.
I think it's been really helpful. I feel like I wake up calmer unless I feel like when you wake up and you have kids and you're running a business, you run the household, and my husband is a wonderful partner, but like, you're kind of running everything. You can have like 1,000 things on your mind the second your feet hit the floor. But with the grounding sheets, I've noticed I don't have that as much. So it's interesting. I just think I wake up calmer and really need that. Um, it's been an interesting experience.
Our body is electrical, right?
It
So
is.
we, especially with 5G, all the EMFs are as humans, like this is a new thing for us. So the more you can put the body back in balance, that's why earthing or putting your feet on the ground, the bare ground, helps reset all your electrons. And it's, if you look at the science of it, it's pretty phenomenal. So from my understanding, the grounding sheets are supposed to do something similar.
Yeah, it has to do with it's something about like tapping into the earth to balance out your own energy, using the energy that's naturally produced by the earth. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
The whole thing has just been like I could probably spend 30 minutes talking about it, but it's a really interesting um, process. I think we use Earthing Harmony if anyone is listening to this and wants to look into it. I feel like there could be a pretty gimmicky thing if you're not using the right brand. This was recommended to me by a doctor that I really trust. So it was Earthing Harmony grounding sheets. It's been interesting. And then one thing I don't want to get into today, but I'm gonna try it out next year is stem regen. So there's always like just always something that I'm trying, just like you, Erica, and it's just fun and interesting. And I love like, doing something and then being able to recommend it to clients or not if they happen to ask about it and I've done it and it wasn't like a super great experience.
We have met with the people at STEM Regen. So I've been taking it for almost 2 months now, and my autoimmune daughter with type 1, she's been taking it for almost 2 months now. I feel amazing when I take it.
Cool. I can't wait to start.
And I got that for both of my parents and in-laws for Christmas presents.
I
So,
got my dad and my mother-in-law CGMs.
oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the best gifts.
I know, right? The gift of wellness.
Yes.
Um, cool. Okay. So maybe it will start like next year, kick off with like terrain versus germ theory and talk about stem regen.
That would be cool.
I think so too. Okay, anything I do want to mention we are running a sale on testing. So if anyone needs any testing ordered, do it by the end of the year and you can get 10% off. So food sensitivity testing, if you want to retest and see where you are on that, stool testing, SIBO testing, if you're having any sort of digestive issues. If you're feeling run down and want to optimize wellness, you might want to consider the NutriVal. If you want to see what your metabolism's doing, you can jump on my train and get a glucose monitor. What am I missing, Erica?
Hormones with the Dutch
Mhm.
test.
Yeah,
Those are our big ones.
yeah. We need to do a session on GDAP and kind of show people what that's like too next year.
Everybody with gut issues have histamine issues, and some don't even realize it. So
Mhm.
it's literally been like my last 10 patients have all, we've had to focus on histamines.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Cool. Anything else before we wrap up?
I think that was a very extensive list, and hopefully people don't feel overwhelmed. Like I said, just take one thing that felt really good to you and give it a try. It's one step in the right direction.
Yeah, and literally like my stuff like the gluten-free diet, the organic food, the water, like it's been a process of like 10 to 12 years.
Hmm.
The the grounding sheets, like I probably get into like one or two things a year that I try that are new. If there is no way anyone would ever want to or probably be able to overhaul their entire lifestyle in that way and not go completely crazy or waste a ton of money. It's really got to be methodical and kind of tailored to where you are in your own health journey.
I would completely agree with that. It's also that it made me think of all of the cookware and
Oh
things
yeah.
like that. So slowly switching stuff over, no BPA plastics
Right.
and just little by little, the nonstick pans, little by little making changes that way too. It reduces all your toxic exposure. Any way you can get rid of that, you're one step ahead.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're just want to take a baby step, just get rid of your plastic water bottles and switch to stainless steel or glass.
Great one.
That could be
Yes.
a thing. Get rid of your plastic spatulas and get stainless steel. I mean,
Yes.
that could be something. And you don't have to do both, just pick one. There's lots of steps you can take in the right direction. Cool. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for attending or watching after the recording today. We wish you the very best this holiday season and look forward to seeing you in 2025. We are going to be closed the next couple of weeks. I know Erica's sneaking in some last minute appointments. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that for anyone. But definitely send me an email if you want to schedule something for 2025. My calendar's not up to date right now. I apologize. And we are checking messages and I'll be checking emails throughout the break. So we're always here if you need something. Don't hesitate to reach out. And yeah, happy holidays and we will see you guys next year.